Ah yes, the Elder Scrolls.
The Elder Scrolls are a money printing scheme born from the innocent will and power of young, fresh keyboard magicians motivated by the pure reason of being on the verge of homelessness in the case of a flop. While in truth, some randos, Julian Lefebvre be praised, created the first entry, the true teenage growth of the series was caused by being raised and nurtured by the shared step-parenthood of Michele, Sposo di Chiesa, and Todd It Just Works, Howard and their minions, and the combined powers of their godheads and milk fingers. This change of diet plan for the series, from weekly meals of dungeon full of pop art and 2D booba, to the daily mixture of Howard's homemade dungeon crawling stew and some hefty chunk of Kirkbride's totally just alcohol-induced fever dreams, brought the Elder Scrolls series into the spotlight. If only there wouldn't be some other well-known, cherished, and most beloved titles in the way of the light. Howard and Kirkbride, however, divorced throughout the development of Oblivion, and the final product quite literally speaks for itself.
How goes it? I've been better. I hope things get better. Bye. Goodbye.
It truly is a game that shows the symptoms of an infancy without a proper father figure. Anyway, the rest is history, and while today people rather recognize Skyrim than Elder Scrolls, the series truly has grown into a gigantic mock of a franchise, and while looking into this beautiful universe that has been created here, one might just ask, how? How was it created? At least in Game 1, we all know the real-life creation equivalent was like Burrow Madness. Well, in the beginning, which technically wasn't the beginning because time didn't exist yet, there was nothing, and technically also everything, because literally out of nothing, the contrast from nothing to everything became clear, and then they were, the two primal existences of which only really one existed, nothingness and not nothingness, I guess, and their names were Anu and Pedomai. With the disparity of not everything is nothing and or everything, the Aurbis sprang into being, which is a funny word for 3D space, meaning there was now finally some concept of something actually being there, which Anu and Pedomai quickly made use of. Now, what followed then is a bit of a weird thing, which you'll better get quickly used to, but it's certainly off to a great start when Anus and Pedomai birthed their souls out of themselves, which to be honest makes as little sense as something coming out of nothing, I guess, but oh no, here come the theists. So after bearing their own souls into a somewhat existence-ish soup thing called It All, these two renamed themselves into, well, Anoiel and Sithis, even though I highly doubt this because of 1. The absolute morony of two absolute meganon beings of spiritual chaos nature caring about the concept of names when there isn't even anything that probably is yet. 2. Anoiel is literally Anu but with an added syllable. Are you telling me that the whole self-rebirth thing was just a method to go, yeah, I'm not Mark anymore, now I'm Marcus? I'm getting off track here, but just like the screams from the bedroom of your parents at 3 AM when all you're trying to do is catch some goddamn Pokemon, you'll get used to it. As these two reshape themselves into some next level shit of sentience and form, Anoiel and Sithis proceed to just exist and chill, which causes some other thingy ghost boys to assemble out of the Aurbis becoming chaos. One of them has the great and totally not confusing name of Auriel, when the confusion he causes somehow established the continuum of causality, which is time. Then there were as many other mega spirits that sprang from this flimsy explanation. For example, dudes like Magnus, Dibella, Gigaloc, and Hermamora, but one of them was some shady dude called Lorcan, and you can thank him for being a little sad emo boy, because he approached these primordial spooks by going, Hey guys, how are you liking the Aurbis? Are you all having fun, living in low-budget planes of existence that were randomly generated by Sithis and Anus, just existing and looking at each other? It's aight. Seeing that nobody really sought to change the state of spirit swirling and sustaining some self-made shit forever, the inner 4-channel of Lorcan activated as he came up with the plan for le epic mega trolling, haha. Now to be frank, I still don't understand how any of these literal gods could fall for what he proposed, or I don't even understand what Lorcan's argument meant to entail at all, but get that. He somehow managed to either trick
out your window now,
or convince this bunch of oversized Casper LARPers into a, let's say, productively framed suicide pact. How? We don't know. The lore just tells us he either tricked or convinced them with the reasoning of, I don't like the exist in the forever, in the nothing and all. I mean, maybe a few found it boring to be an almighty and timeless being in an endless space of possibilities, but I really doubt this whole fucking premise. Even more so than there being an actual recorded account of the creation. But oh well, there we go. So Lorcan approaches the antediluvian congress of cataclysmic cowards again and goes, ooh, guess what guys, I found something weird over here. And it seems if you just pour some undefined amount of your life force into it, something really funny happens. I'm sure nothing bad is gonna happen if you just donated a tiny bit of your life essence. Alright, let's go! And so a good amount of the gods fell for it. Most spirits, though, were the actual big brain moment havers and just left the very second Lorcan tried to reach them. Once the low IQ spirits, either convinced or tricked, realized that they had spent themselves, their very beings, into constructing a new plane of existence in the image of Lorcan, they were angry. Some of them... maybe? In any case, one of them was the aforementioned Magnus, and his departure quite literally ripped a gigantic hole into the plane of existence itself as he yeeted himself out into the void, like some Looney Tunes character directly phasing through a wall. This caused the plane that was created, made to be, contained in itself, to be sprinkled with the divine energies from outside through the sun-sized hole slashed through its borders. There were also others leaving this way, by the way, leaving other smaller holes. It's quite hilarious that this Magnus is highly revered by some, when in truth it was just some goddish dude that got the fuck out of there. But anyway, this is the reason why there is magic in this fantasy game. Stunner. So after this goddamn experience, we have some random half-baked plane of existence that was supposed to be better than the others because it was construed by divine Cobain energy. Well as 2 handful minus 2 thumbful of those Dumbo divines kinda helped Lorcan to finish the job and then either died or left, or who the fuck would even know that? They became planets. Then there were the Galaxy Intelligence Quotient gods that basically, just like you goddamn mainstream whale drone, suffered from sunk cost fallacy so intensely that they were like, well, spent almost all of my life force on this shit, I'ma turn myself into some sentient beings and start dwelling on this thing. Words. Summary. The actually smart gods that didn't kill themselves for a social experiment are called Daedra, because that apparently means not our ancestors, while the smooth-brain Lorcanists are called Aedra, because just like while the smooth-brain Lorcanists are called Aedra, because just like you, every time you bed your unhappy wife, they were out of the... And it also means our ancestors, according to National Socialistic Elven Boomers. Then the really sad group that just accepted their fate as warring, suffering, emotionally unfulfilled race of mortal beings challenged at all times by themselves and all else. Woo, survival. Yeah, these gods got the worst name for their acts. Elnofay, which firstly means she no do in French, but secondly, and more importantly, the Elnofay are the reason why you as a player can choose 2 of the 10 now established races. Most of the ones you know will develop through some really bad RPG, terrible initiative rolls, and even worse war saving throws by our unbeloved gods. Maybe I'll make videos on these events. Depends on the fucking YouTube statistics and if they stop showing me graphs that tell me that practically 90% of my views click off the video in 5 seconds. Self-pity stop, moronic on. We were talking about the Elnofay and how they unascended themselves from gods into some mortal beings, but at least now they could strive for what is the most essential and enjoyable thing for a mortal life form. Boost, yeah, the wonder of procreation. Oh, it seems they also love building phallic structures a lot. Also, in the post-production phase of the creation of Nirn, that's the name of this plane of existence, by the way, Lorcan's heart got ripped out from something, or somehow, or someone. Why does a formless god have a heart? Please. Okay, and this heart got thrown onto Nirn, which caused the code to export the exe file and also created a volcano on the corner of the continent. The end, or the start, depends on your Colpic experience, multiverse transcending finesse, hyperdimensional sub-buoyancy, your chronophylogeny, and the amount of special points you put into perception of time. Bye. Also, if chim is so great, why are chimpanzees not humans? This post was made by